Yeah, I saw that. He sent me the link and I was watching it. I was like, oh, fuck, bro. Do it again. Do it again.
Oh, bro. So, yeah.
Bloopers, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
No, it's a blooper.
Keep it authentic, bro.
Yeah, sweet. Okay. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to all the viewers. Today we have Geoff Daniela, former NRL player, played for Penrith and West Tigers. Welcome to the GOAT podcast on the second episode. So yeah, we'll just kick off today with Geoff, and yeah, thanks for doing this too, bro. Appreciate it.
Thanks, bro. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks for coming through. So yeah, shout out to Robert for hooking this up too. Robert's one of my good friends. Grew up with Geoff down. We met in primary school.
Primary school, bro.
Fuck, long time.
I was just saying to my wife on the way here, I was like with Joey, like our family, we knew each other forever. Like
yeah, family friends.
Chris and Selma grew up. Me and Mark played together. Same age, went to school. You and Rob, and then Sonny and Nordor were together. So
Hey, were they?
yeah, bro.
I thought Nordor was our age.
Nah,
age. Me and Rob.
Rob's your age. Nordor's Sonny's age.
Man.
So like our families were always there. Like yeah.
Yeah, walking down
Okay.
primary school, walking down Wilman Road, straight after school.
That's it.
That was mad. Heversham shops.
Hot chips. Snack pack. 250 snack packs.
Yeah, bro. But yeah, so today I sort of got you in just to talk about basically obviously your career, but obviously the time you spend in there, and also with having the time you spend in there, the amount of free time you had.
Yeah.
Like did you invest? Did you sort of put that time into like studying, or like you were talking about earlier? Because downstairs we were talking about it earlier, how you worked with sponsorship. So did that obviously help your sort of mentality of like what's got to be after football, if that makes sense?
Yeah. So when you like, I guess when you're younger, like you're just happy to be there. So you waste a lot of time. Like you got that much time that you sort of waste a lot of time. A lot of the guys playing games and that. It wasn't until I was like a bit older, and like I was saying to you downstairs, I had a good mentor, like Frankie Pulatua.
Shout out Frank Pulatua, right?
Yeah, shout out to big Frankie. He's smart, man. He's a smart man, and he came on board as like our Pacifica mentor in Penrith, and the best advice he gave me was like, on your day off, go out and find a sponsor or find any business and just work. Like give them your time for free. You don't need the money, but the experience you can gain off it, and also you can learn something along the way in terms of what you want to do after football. Yeah. So like he always used to say, footy's like a little bubble, but the whole world, and you got your whole life to live after it. Like you don't, like not many players play 10 years in the NRL. Like I was lucky, 7 seasons? 8 seasons. So
two clubs.
2 clubs. Or yeah, 2 clubs.
Was it 2 clubs?
Yeah, because I went from Penrith to the Tigers and then came back to Penrith.
Yeah.
I went down to Illawarra for a year. Then I came back to Penrith.
Did you play for St George?
Nah, I didn't end up playing. So I just went down there, played reserve grade, and then I ended up coming back to Penrith. I did my shoulder again, and that was another thing, man. Like injuries. Did my shoulder again, and then I just like, I'm going back to club footy.
So which was your best game in the NRL? What was your best game?
Oh, you know what? My boss rang me today from work, and he said that he watched my highlights on YouTube.
Hat-trick, 3 hat.
Yeah,
Warriors,
that's it. That was it, man. That was it.
That was with Benji Marshall, West Tigers, wasn't it?
Yeah. It was. We had like Robbie Farah, Benji Marshall, Gareth Ellis.
Which was a better club? You can say that.
I can. In terms of what?
In terms of management, in terms of fun, like where you had more fun, where did you like? Which culture is better? Like which footy club has got better culture?
Yeah, I don't know. Like Penrith were the two times I was at Penrith was both like they were rebuilding. So I was there. I debuted when Matt Elliott was there, so he was new coach. So he was like building the club up. Yeah. And then I came back in 12, and Ivan Cleary was there, so he was rebuilding the club as well. So in terms of like stability, it was probably the Tigers.
Tigers.
Yeah.
And
like the 2 years we had there.
Oh, that's right. You played with Lottie Securities.
Bro, dumb man.
Bro.
I actually was cleaning. I was cleaning out my study the other day, and I had like when I was 15, made like the state New South Wales team, and you write down like your idols and that, like, and I had like Petro, played with, Lottie, played with.
Goat.
I had Tamana Tahu, he was the man.
Oh,
bro. I marked him, played against him, bro. He's the man too.
Yeah, where is he doing now? Is he part of the scene? Is he part of the footy league or footy scene? Or
I'm not sure. I think last time I follow him on Instagram, he was doing like high performance training. I think.
Yeah.
I think he just turned vegan as well. He went Yeah, went vegan. Yeah, bro.
What's this in vegan stuff, bro? You tried it?
Bro, not so much vegan, vegetarian.
Yeah.
I love my eggs, bro. But
I just love meat.
I just think, I don't know, like it works for some people, works for other people. Like, I love my meat too much, I guess.
So obviously you spend a lot of time with sponsorships. You're obviously mentored by Frank Pulatua in order to sort of learn and grow.
Yeah.
So did you know, when did you realise that, at this time I need to start thinking about career after football? When was that? Like, was there a pinnacle moment, or did you go like, sort of, just sort of weather the storm type thing?
It was, I knew after probably my second serious injury. So my first one was, I think it was 08, I had my first shoulder reconstruction.
08?
Yeah.
Right. So when did you debut?
07.
I was still in high school, bro.
Yeah. You and
you 12.
Yeah. Because, Rob, like, I remember, So 07,
Like, you were young, man.
Bro, 19,
You were 19,
20.
20.
Yeah. So it was after, the next year that I did my shoulder, and then I was like, ooh, like the old boys are right here. Like, you don't play this game forever. You got to sort of look at it as a plan B.
Yeah.
And so, I started put in place, like when my next contract came up, I sort of put in place like some study, things that I'd like to do. Yeah. That I thought I'd like to do, like personal trainer. I thought I was going to be mad.
Everyone wants to be a personal trainer.
Bro. And I did that, ticked it off, worked for a bit, worked at my mate's gym, helped out a few people here and there.
Football would have helped you give a platform for that, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Like, look, I've got an NRL player.
Yeah, like fit too, like you're doing things at training, you could sort of put into your programs for your clients and stuff like that. But then, I realised, bro, you spend your time trying to motivate people all the time, like... So it's okay, but like we spoke about downstairs, bro, just just do it.
Well, what we mean, but to the viewers, what we're laughing about, basically, there's certain people who sort of encourage you, and then we'll talk about there's two types of people. So I'm a person where, like, not to talk about myself, but I'm a person where it's just like, just do it, get it over and done with, and move on, and basically that's it. No one feels sorry for you type attitude. But then there's people who can nurture you through the steps. Yeah. You're not going to get that from me.
Right. And I can nurture you, but only for so long. After that,
I think my fuse is just
short. So mine's a bit longer.
Yeah. So that's the difference. But So you obviously knew that second injury was a crucial moment where I realised, this might be not forever. Yeah. So and then you started to take on more work for your sponsorships and so on.
Yeah. So then I started tapping into different kind of industries like real estate. Yeah. Thinking, could real estate be for me? Because I love property.
Didn't you get property at a young age?
Did
you buy your first property or something?
Yeah, 21.
That's young, man.
21.
And that's good.
Yeah. Well, so, bro, the first year you play NRL and you get like all this money, you're just like, oh, bro, you sort of just waste it. You buy unnecessary things like you need. Yeah. And so I thought, bro, the next year I have to really, save because you're not in it for a long time. And so that's what I did. Save for like a year and a half or something. And
that's mad, man.
Worked up a deposit to,
So after that, that's what, 21. Then when did you go to Tigers? Or was it what age?
23. Yeah, 22, 23. Yeah, 23 I went to the Tigers. Yeah. And did some study around management, because then I liked management. Yeah. I thought
in what management? In what?
Like
place management or real estate management? Or?
No, it was like work for a company, find something that I like doing, and then work my way up. I always like to work my way up to things, and I was like, man, I'd like to be a manager, like be in charge of things. I like. I don't know, just sort of like being in charge and like a leader kind of thing.
I like what you said just then. I actually like it because not many people, everyone wants to be an entrepreneur these days, and that's all I hear. That's what you see. Everyone wants to be the next, Bill Gates or something. And there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah. Like if you got ambitions, go for it 100%. I'm with you. But that's another kettle of fish, having someone who's willing to be a manager and work their way up the ranks. Yeah. Where a lot of people just want to do entrepreneurship. A lot of people just want to be the top dog without putting in work. Yeah. And I think. See, from my position in life is that I noticed that from my experiences is that people who usually go through those roles and go through management roles, and then they end up going to I might do my own thing. They sort of do good, because they've developed a lot of skills where if you were on your own, you probably wouldn't have got those skills in general. Yeah. Like learning about how to deal with people, learning how to manage numbers or whatever the management role is, that sort of builds your character in order to do something else on your own.
Yeah.
And that's life experiences too. So that's good that you touched onto that, where people will probably listening and probably something they can.
Yeah. So when I come back to Penrith, I actually put it into study. So I went to a small business and management course, did that. And then when I went down to Illawarra, I was living down there, and on my time off, same thing. I worked with a company down there, a cleaning and maintenance company, and I was doing like 1-2 days a week casual there. And then after I finished and I went to just reserve grade, I was just like, man, I need more days. And the boss was like, all right, we'll keep you. And so within like months, I became the manager of the maintenance division in the company. So they had like a cleaning division and a maintenance. So I was looking after like all sorts of workers, cleaners, subbies and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, well, I like this. And I didn't care like how much I was getting paid, because it was the experience I was getting.
And the skills you were developing
along the way. Yeah. And it was some of the things that I'd actually studied and I was putting into play. Yeah. So at that stage. So, and then I come back to Penrith and I was still working there. And then it just so happened to be like moving on, I got this role within the schools. Now, I'd worked as a teacher's aide when I was younger, when I was playing 20s, because you can't play 20s unless you either study or job. So I did that. Triggy Primary School, worked as a teacher's aide.
Shout out Triggy Primary School.
2770 Triggy Bridge. So I had fun doing that, you know, and my missus is a teacher, and, you know, one thing led to another, and one of my mates was like, oh, there's a job coming up in the area along, you know, with mentoring, you know, Indigenous kids. And I was like, oh, yeah. But first I want to know, like, is there a platform to climb, you know? Yeah. And he's like, yeah, 100%, man, there is.
So what's the platform structure then? So for, like, that mentoring team?
So you start off as, they call it operations officer, where you're sort of just doing, like, you know, helping the kids out, doing this, like talking to parents, liaising with teachers and that. And then the next role is a director, which I'm at now, is where you're sort of with like different shareholders, different corporate partners. You know, there's more paperwork involved, organising, and that suited me. So I was like, you know, I sort of found my niche in that regard. Like I could be with kids, do something different every day, have fun along the way, but also manage as well.
So that's where your management skills and experience.
Exactly. Yeah.
So you're sort of tapping into something you always wanted to do.
Yeah.
After footy, because like it's good that you said that. When you say 20s, you had to work. I didn't know that. I didn't know that when you're in the 20 system, like you had to find a job.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where I thought you could just sort of just eat, drink, sleep, football at that age.
Yeah.
You know, that's what you want to do.
That's right. And it used to be like that, but it's sort of the NRL was smart enough to say, you know what, this is crucial sort of development for the boys. Not every kid that's 18, 19, 20 is going to be playing NRL. Yeah. So in the spare time, you've got to either be studying or working. So.
Oh, that's good. At least they had that sorted, because just shame they couldn't sort of manage the game properly. But anyway.
That's a whole new level, mate. That is a whole new level now.
Shout out Greenbird.
I feel sorry for him, man. Like it's not an easy job.
Well, people play to watch the players. Like, you know what I mean? I don't know. I personally, look, I'm a fan. I'm a 100% fan. Yeah. And I don't know why like they get paid more than some players when I'm someone please explain to me, because I feel like the fans come and the people who make the money for the company, if you want to look at NRL as a company or a business, the people want to come watch the players. Yeah. I don't think they want to come watch, you know, the management. If the management are getting paid more, you sort of expect more from them. Yeah. So my point of view, I thought that maybe management should have been a bit more managed better in order for us to see the game, because if they're struggling, they have to borrow money from overseas banks and private banks or whatever they're doing just to get it going. You know, isn't that their job in general? Yeah,
I don't know like what happens behind the scenes in terms of, you know, the CEO of the NRLs, but I just know that, you know, there's probably a lot of money that got spent in the admin side of things. I don't know if it needed to be, but I know they were working off percentages. So say they got 1 billion or 1.2 billion from the TV rights. They break it down into percentages. All right, they've got to put like 10% into marketing, or I don't know the percentage, but you know, different percentages into, you know,
no, that makes sense.
Media, so
it makes sense. Good. That sort of puts it in line for me to understand better. But in saying that, so like you obviously played Lottie Takiri, played with Benji Marshall. Yep. Which was probably the best player you've ever played with? Oh, like who was someone that you played with and go, oh, like he was good and or you had fun with, or best player I've ever played next to?
At Penrith, I think Luke Lewis.
Luke Lewis.
He's
I forgot he was in your
bro. He's the ultimate.
I forgot he was in your era. I forgot he even played there when you were there too.
Ultimate professional, man. And like he's been playing. He's been doing that since he was 17. He was still at. Well, he just finished school.
Yeah.
17, and he only retired 2 years ago, bro. He still looks like a machine.
Even now.
Yeah,
Even
he just
all
did
the
everything
injuries.
right. He's just an out and out footballer. Like when people talk about in footy terms, like footballers, like they just have that instinct to know like the bounce of the ball or where to be at the right time. And Louis knew that. Like Luke Lewis knew that. At the Tigers, man, I was lucky. Like Benji Marshall was there.
Shout out Benji Marshall, eh?
Benj, ball bags as they call him. But he's like someone that I grew up watching. Like, bro, he's.
I think everyone did.
Yeah, everyone did.
Benji
Everyone
step.
wanted to do the step. Everyone, but I found myself sometimes being that fan at training. Like you sit back and people see it on the field, like in the games, but he was doing that like at training, like for fun, like just flick past it and step it.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'd find myself just going, "Wow, oh shit," like you still got
You're running. You're gonna get the ball.
yeah, like stuff like that. Like Robbie Farah was the same. There's like Andrew Fafita was coming through, bro.
Yeah.
Like he was always going to be the man.
I heard they said there was an apprenticeship. He went through apprenticeship. Is there I didn't know what you guys take apprenticeships on. Like in
What's that?
Was there I don't know if I heard it wrong, but was there a program for apprenticeship players who were coming through? They were putting for apprenticeship or a traineeship, or was that just something I heard wrong?
In terms of outside,
in terms of like
playing,
full time.
they got like a development, like they call it development. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Well, I must have heard it wrong.
Yeah, so there's like they pick like the best young players coming through, and they sort of give them time to train full time with the the NRL.
Yeah,
and then they sort of get a gauge on whether these guys are ready to play or.
Yeah. I wonder if Israel Folau was one of them. He's a freak.
Right, he's a freak. If it, some of the
Shout out
things,
Israel Folau if you're ever listening.
big doko.
If you're ever listening, you're always welcome.
Welcome on the podcast, bro.
Nah, but what I actually really got you in here for was actually talking about like the time you obviously spent in NRL, but also the free time you had, and obviously we touched on a bit about like you know working with sponsors and working on management and stuff like that. Do you see did like the NRL themselves encourage that, or did you guys sort of had to fend for yourself in that sense? Or you know, like you guys sort of had to fend for yourself to sort of use that time wisely rather than play video games, if that makes sense.
So early on, when I was coming through, they had like every club had like a welfare officer. Yeah. And you sit down with that person and they sort of try and map out with you like what you want to do. But like I said, like you get all the easier courses to do, like you know, like what do we talk about? Sport and rec, fitness, personal training courses, and people just like, oh yeah, I want to be a personal trainer. And they do their cert 3 and 4, and then boom, they're a personal trainer. So something like that. But I always wanted something more. Like, and look, we spoke about it downstairs as well. Like wanting more. Like I always wanted to. I don't know. Like I just feel like I always wanted something more than just being a personal trainer or just doing the easy go to work at a factory or something. Like I wanted to be in charge or something. I don't know. It might have been something that was just instilled in me from a young age. But I just I just thought that I just wanted more. So
because with that is that you notice that like you know. With NRL, obviously, because I heard from certain sources that with rugby union, they got so when you sort of make their ranks and you sort of in full-time train, they realise there's a lot of spare time. Yeah. So I heard that they have courses where you've like domestic violence course of how to treat women. Yeah. There's also media training. Apparently, if you're coming up the ranks and you have media trained, you sort of can't really talk to the media after games. Was there anything like that implemented into the system for NRL?
Yeah. Same thing.
Same process.
It was more. So at the start when I was coming through, it was sort of like, you know, you got one welfare officer. She tells you, you know, or he tells you to do this, do that. But it's still up to you. Like you've got to take the initiative to go up to them and say,
okay.
Yeah, like
so it's not sort of not forced. I wouldn't say forced, but it's not sort of like
no way, no. It's just you, but it's a mentality thing as well. Like a lot of the boys now, they know that you're only in it for a short amount of time, so they're making the most of the resources that the clubs have,
which is good.
Like, it's what you want because, like I said, like it's not everyone plays 10 years like in the NRL. Yeah, and like some people they have all like they might have played 10 years and they earned good money, but they probably wasted it away. Like,
You know what I'm thinking of?
yeah. Like they probably went out and partied it, like, you know, or
You know
bought
everything,
everything, all the unnecessary things, or you know, like you just see it. I've seen it a lot in the game and
Yeah. So what are you doing now? So you're doing obviously what the
mentoring,
mentoring and stuff. And which school is that at?
Chifley Senior,
Chifley Senior.
Mount Druitt. Yeah.
So all the people out there who are watching, obviously we've got a couple of people from Mount Druitt, but it's not as bad as what the people think.
Nah.
Or would you say in your profession, how is it? Is it hard or is it challenging?
Yeah, it's challenging, but I think it'll be challenging in any area.
Yeah.
You know, like you talk about Mount Druitt demographic, like you know, like
Polynesians.
Yeah, higher Polynesians, low education. You know, there's a higher crime rate around, and that's just the area. Like, I tell this to some of our corporate partners that come around, is that Mount Druitt was based off the 70s, was put where like the state government just went, all right, we'll just put all the housing commission and all people on welfare in the one area. What do you think is going to happen when you put all those people in one area?
Not much was going to come out from it.
Exactly.
So it wasn't built for anything special.
No, it was just like, boom, let's just put all the housing commission in here, and like that was you know how we all came about, you know, like. But
I think it's the biggest. I think it's the biggest housing commission in the Southern Hemisphere area.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so I heard that in high school. So whether that's changed or whether that's true or not, I don't know.
But in terms of the school,
hey Joe, maybe we should Google that.
But in terms of the school, like it's a great school, man. Like it's year 11 and 12.
Yeah.
The principal there, someone actually was my trainer when I was at Penrith playing Harrow Mats. It's funny how like.
I think I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. Steve Freeborn. Yeah. He's the man, bro. He's the man. So it's funny how life works and it just goes full circle, and all of a sudden I'm working at his school helping young Indigenous boys.
So you obviously went to Dommies.
Yeah, I went to St. Dom. Yes. So I went to Plumpton. I went to Hebersham Primary School. Kindergarten. Kinder to year 6, and then I went year 7. I went to Plumpton, and then year 8 to year 12 I went to St. Dom's. Yeah.
Yeah. So with your time in spending at Plumpton, obviously it's a public school. Then you go into obviously a Catholic private school, whatever you want to call it. Did you see the difference in the teaching? I'm sorry. Did you see the difference inside the environment, or did anything play a role in something different?
Yeah, it was different. Like obviously it was a Catholic school. Yeah. Plumpton was public. Uniform, that was strict. The way you dressed, you had to have a certain haircut. You couldn't have anything under a 1. Yeah. So anyone that wanted a skin fade, had to be a 2. Yeah. You had to shave. So if you had a beard, you had to shave.
Would you say would you say, how do I put it? So would you say that's a good thing, but because like it sort of teaches kids discipline and sort of well grooming?
Yeah.
Like, I noticed that when I was at Chifley, Mount Druitt, and then you just see the difference between kids from, Chifley, Mount Druitt to someone who goes to Patricia Blacktown. Just the appearance. Yeah. And obviously we live in a world where, first impressions. I'm not saying it's a good thing, but it's unfortunate, but people judge on your first impression. Yeah, that's just... So obviously seeing certain people from certain areas, that sort of helps too. Yeah. So would you say that sort of still happens today in senior Chifley, Mount Druitt? Yeah. Like, would you say people are sort of judged on basically what they look like? Yeah,
all the time. Yeah. And I think that's just the way it is, I guess.
So, and there's no, would you say it could be a change in that? Like the Chifley could would you say that they'll be changing their uniform style, or do you reckon that's just the way it is the way it is?
Nah, I think it's just the way it is. But like I was saying, our school places a big emphasis on uniform. Yeah. So like we've got like a deputy principal or teacher at the front gate. When the kids walk in, they've got to be, because they only worry about brand Chifley. Like there's no Nike this, Adidas this. Yeah. So at senior, and it's something that the junior kids struggle with when they come from 7 to 10, where they can wear anything. Yeah. And then they come to senior and they're like, oh, I've got to wear uniform every day. Yeah,
because even as a mentor, like, and obviously we know this after school, it's a big bad world. It's not as beautiful and rainbows as people think in high school. So even mentioning appearances for people in high school, and showing that, telling them that your appearance says a lot about yourself. Yeah. So that could sort of like give them a head start in life a bit, knowing that the way you dress and the way you approach things. Sometimes it's based on your actual appearance rather than your words or whatever.
And it's easy. It's like sometimes it's just going up to someone and shaking their hand, eye contact, firm handshake, and just introducing yourself. Yeah. Because that person walks by and goes, man, how goes that bloke?
I don't know. I haven't met a young person who has that yet. Like, because I employ the young kids. So
Yeah,
I've got like 19, 20-year-olds and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But like, I haven't seen that in this generation. Would you say you've seen it?
Yeah.
You're working around
kids.
young kids. And
So
stuff.
that's something that we instill in our program
Yeah.
at school is we make sure that when the boys meet, different people, that their handshake, it's nice and firm, eye contact, and they introduce themselves, tell them who they are. And then that sort of leads on from that. And we tell them all the time, it's just first impressions, even when we sort of teach the boys different skills around interviews, mock interviews, because year 11 and 12, the next phase is they're going into the real world. So we're helping them get their license, their white card, all the things that we call it job ready, so that when they leave school, they don't have to worry about getting that. They've already got it.
And that helps too, especially in the construction industry. White card.
Yeah, white card. Yeah. License. Yeah, that's the big one. Like, so
you guys help them get licenses.
Yeah. So we get funding to get
wish
the
I had that back in my day.
Exactly. Like that's, we tell the boys, like, man, you are so lucky. Like other parents, they have to fork out for this. Yeah. Like, we tell you to come back into our room, sit down, go on a computer, study, and when you become confident, we'll take you down.
And what, the school pays for it?
Well, it's not the school; it's our program that pays for it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So our program will pay for it for the boys, and then they go, because they're the Indigenous boys. They're disadvantaged. Yeah. In society, so in terms of bridging that gap and getting them up there to the rest of the population, like, we've got to do these things. So.
It's also, like you said, mentality.
Yeah.
It's also environment. Yeah. So with your demographic area, you're obviously dealing with a lot of Polynesians, a lot of Aboriginal, Indigenous.
Well, our program's Indigenous, but at school, there's heaps of Islanders at school,
Was it, because you're an Islander yourself, would you say it's easy to work with? Like, would you say that the approach to, you, it's actually not that hard?
Nah.
Like, it's just...
And the same thing, like, they find out, like, some of them don't even realise, like, I've played in the NRL, which is good. Well, I don't go around boasting about it. But some of the teachers was like, oh, if I go and watch them train, I'll just sit back and watch them. Yeah. And the teacher's like, oh, do you know Geoff played? And they're like, no way. Then they go and start Googling you. And they come up like, sir, you were the man, eh? I was like, what do you mean? They go, nah, that wasn't me. It was my brother.
No,
like, no. I was like, nah, that was you, bro. I didn't know you played.
Yeah. So did you find it, so when you're transforming into the life now, so you've obviously went from NRL at a young age, really, that was your probably first career of the job.
Yeah.
Really, was NRL.
Oh, yeah.
So transfer, and then you started to see, 23, you started to realise maybe this is not going to be forever.
Yeah.
So after that, you went into a scene where you're working on the next phase of life, which is obviously your career where you're at now. Was there any, what part from that part to where you are now, was there any hard, like, what was anything hard about that transform, or was it easy to accept? Like, a lot of people go through depression maybe, I don't know, or did you go through any hardship?
Nah. Yeah. The reason why is because I think I always knew that it wasn't going to be forever. Like, the boys that struggle are the ones that earn the big money. Yeah. Like, I was never earning the big money. So the ones that earning the big money, limelight, they struggle with the fame. They struggle with getting noticed. So that's a big thing. Because as soon as this is something that Frankie Pulatua, again, mentored me on, was like, when you get out into the real world, no one cares that you played NRL or
that's true.
Yeah, that's true. But some like you get the odd, oh bro, did you play? But then after that, it's like the boss is not going to care you're former NRL player. Yeah, bro, he's got bills to pay. He's got a family to look after. Yeah. He wants you to do the best job for his company. Yeah. So no one cares. Like I hated the fact that I was seen as, oh, that's Geoff the footballer. Yeah. Like bro, I'm a person. I'm just normal, like footballers, they're normal people. Like, just because they play on TV and they're good at it, or they have a talent that's highlighted, they're no different. They're just like, bro, you and me. And that's the way I've always looked at it. So I never struggled with like the mental side of the mental health side of it, bro, because I always knew that this is not forever.
That's good. So there was no hardship at all.
Nah. No. The only challenges I struggled with was when I was trying to learn the new skills, because like it's when you go on a training every day, it's like 6 days, 7 days. Like, footy is your life. Like, you're training.
How many times do you train a day?
So sometimes we'll 2 to 3 sessions a day. Yeah. But we needed it, like, so say depending when we played. So if we played on a Sunday, you'd go Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday off, Thursday train, Friday off, and then Saturday train.
Life,
yeah, bro.
Like, getting paid to be fit.
That's right.
That's a dream job itself.
That's it.
Someone paid me good, like half the money I'm on now. I'll be like, I'll train and pay.
That's it. And but like, people see that side, but they don't see the the emotional roller coaster of, bro, am I going to get picked this week? Like, like, did I play good enough? Like, when you're playing the game, you make a mistake, you're like, bro, first thing Monday.
Oh, are you serious?
Video session, bro, that's me getting done. Like, so there's like a mental capacity to it as well. Like, it's just not all, oh, bro, I'm just turning up the training. Like, you've got to be on every game. Like, you can't be turning up the training half-hearted.
Yeah.
The coach's like, bro, what's going
So
on?
do you get based on like training performance, or is it more game performance? So say if you sort of average in training, but then you go into a game and then you're sort of calming it up, they're still going to pick you.
100%. But
so
that training, that's their first impressions. It's like exactly what we talk about. Like, So you turn up to off-season training, bro, you're overweight. They're like, bro, you're in a fat club. Yeah. You're coming at 6 in the morning. Yeah. You're staying for the next session at 8:30. Then you're doing the Arvo session. And then after, when everyone's gone home, you're on again. So
that'll be hard.
But when you think about it, you're a professional. Look after yourself.
Yes, that's
you got
correct.
6 weeks off.
Yeah.
Look after yourself. It's not hard, bro, to maintain it. Some people they find it a bit harder, like the Island boys. They like their food. They go, oh, I'll worry about it. Then the first session, oh, my back.
No, but I think it's like it's good to stay fit, but like you said, it's a loss and you're a professional.
Yeah.
But you got it, like if you're 19 years old, 6 weeks off, good money.
Yeah.
A lot of
take off the barley.
Yeah, take off the
barley. Go to the cross.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? That's just natural. So like for them it will be pretty hard to come back. Like, oh shit, we gotta be back next week.
Yeah. That's it. But like, bro,
like you said, it's but in saying that, are they mentored in that too? Or is it just you're on your own in a sense of like you should be able to manage yourself?
Yeah, well you have a meeting, like at the end of the season you have a meeting, all right, what do you want to how do you think you went this year? Where can you improve? And then they'll give you some feedback, and then it's like, all right, you got this 6 weeks off. There's your training program. Yeah, you're expected to do it. Yeah. When we come back, we'll be testing first couple of days, and then we'll see where you're at, and then you go from there. Yeah,
because obviously asking a 19-year-old to stay fit is not that hard too, to be honest.
Nah,
a 19-year-old to stay fit, and you ask a 30-year-old, a veteran.
Yeah,
I think the veterans usually look after themselves better.
They're smarter. I'm at that stage now. I look after myself now better now than I did when I was 19, 20. Because you can, bro, and you can go out all night and then back up the next day.
Those days were the best.
Can't do that now.
Nah, man. Like if I go out like that, say if I go out like I used to when I was 19, like 20.
Yeah.
If I had one just like half the night, it would take me now a week to recover. And
right.
then I wouldn't want to do it again.
Like, worst side is when you got the kids climbing over you.
How many kids you got now?
Two kids, one boy, one girl. Yeah.
Oh, you're lucky. Some people get 2 boys, or some people get 5 kids, or 5 girls.
5 girls.
Yeah, well, you know what I mean. Just some people get 5 girls, some people get two boys, and they always want that girl. And
nah, we're lucky, one of each.
Yeah, no, that's mad. But yeah, so we've so obviously, so with the career now, so you're actually one of the good ones, one of the good stories coming out of NRL. Like you didn't really struggle with anything mentally after the game. You didn't really struggle financially because you sort of managed. Did you like with the finances what you're on? You sort of managed. You got an investment. At what, 23, 21 was it?
Yeah, 21.
Was that
22? Yeah.
Where was that influence from? Where was that coming from? Or was it just you yourself picked that up?
Yeah, my parents, I guess, because I think they realised it took them so long to get one.
Especially like being a Polynesian.
Yeah.
Polynesian getting an investment with his career money.
Yeah, that's right. Age. That's right. And you see it more now. Like the boys, obviously they're on better coin now. They're smarter now. Like there's a whole generation that's gone before them that they can learn off. Like you'd be silly if you walked out of the game now without anything. Like
because downstairs we were talking about the contract of how the NRL worked and stuff like that. Would you be able to explain that how it worked again? Because that was quite interesting, which I'd never had an idea of.
Yeah. So in terms of when you start off, obviously you start off on the lowest unless the club sees
potential or something.
Yeah, massive potential, like a Folau or Dave Feeder kind of thing now, where they're just like, bro, this kid's worth $1 million or $500,000, you know. Like I didn't have to worry about that. I had to work my way up the hard way, you know. So, and it's sort of like you get the minimum. Like back then, the minimum was like 40, but then you could put into your contract like if you played a certain amount of games, you know, it activates different sort of base salary.
Because what we're talking about is that how you're saying that like when the players management or something, you know how it was like if you're the middle player, like the guy who comes in every week, you got the middle player pay older, you got the bottom end, it sort of helped. There was a stage you saw that.
That was the when they were negotiating the new the new deals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how does that work?
So like, so what happens is the NRL and the Players Association, the money that comes in through TV rights and that, they go back to the NRL. They give it to the NRL. NRL goes to the Players Association, and they're like, all right, so this is the cut that's going to go to the players. And so the players back then, the higher profile players, they fought for the lower end boys to, instead of getting like your 40 and 50, to get like 80 to 100, 100 grand as a minimum. Like, and that's massive, man. Like, for a player to get nearly 100 grand
off his debut year.
Yeah, like,
it's
and not even some that haven't even played NRL.
Oh, no way. So you can just be signed with a club.
Yeah, basically, yeah. And there'll be all sorts of like incentives based and clauses based in that contract. But that's, and then you got the middle guys that are earning like your 200s, your 300s, and then your high end guys that are earning.
Jason Tamalolo.
Yeah. 10 year, 1.2.
I think that was pretty good, but I think that like that was probably a safe bet for Cowboys, because like if you think about it, he was worth more than that. Like even now, man, you got to admit he's worth more than that, bro. He's the man, bro.
But he's a good player, but
best player of all time.
But can he?
Greatest of all time. Greatest forward of all time. Right. Greatest. Name someone who has the same stats week in, week out for the last 5 years.
Yeah,
5 years straight.
But I worry about him in the fact that his game's built on power, but he's not getting any younger.
Yeah, but that's what I thought. I thought that 3 years ago. But like, look what he's been doing for the last 6 seasons.
Yeah.
He's actually gone better. Which I'm thinking, he'll probably die off after his third year.
Yeah.
He's actually gone even better. He's breaking more records than anything. I think the most meters in a forward in one game.
But if he's the last, say, like a Paul Gallen, who was doing that well into his 30s, like he retired, 37?
Yeah, but Paul Gallen wasn't hitting the same stats.
Nah, not that young.
Not those numbers.
But he lasted longer. How long's Jason going to last? Like, I hope he
I think he's got another 5 years minimum.
At that level?
At that level. You should put a bet on it.
Bro, I just think he needs, like, I love watching him play. But I can't stop thinking about, bro, when you're a bit older, like, your power game's only going to last you so long. There's going to be like young David Feeders coming through.
It's going to be like the guys. Oh, we worked out his game.
Yeah, he needs like an offload or.
Well, he's got that now. He's got
a tip on.
Yeah, he's got that play now. Like, but he's still busting the line. Then he gives it.
But it might be the fact that he might not even need that because he's just breaking the line.
Yeah.
Without the offload or anything. But when you get older, his game. Yeah, bro. He's
a freak. The greatest of all time, I think. You can't name it for.
It's because he's tongue, eh? It's because he's tongue.
Well, you name it. I just look at that. I'm a big fan of NRL. I love it. I've loved this ever since I was young. Yeah. I've always gone for Penrith because it's a local area, like local team. But I also like the Bulldogs, so I got to give a shout out to the Bulldogs. Good club. Like, I wish you played for them, Joe, because it's a good. I like.
Get caught up in all their mess. Just what I need.
What mess are they in? Nah, but I don't know. I just like their culture because, like, my brothers and
their culture.
The fan culture, like it's loud, it's good, it's friendly. Like, I like, right, when they were so when they make the grand final. So if they make that week leading up, they close the main road, bro. And that's man, you don't see that anywhere.
Nah, they got like their fans are passionate.
Yeah,
really
the fans
passionate.
are like basically the international Tongan fans.
They're hard out.
Yeah, they're hard out. They stop traffic.
The drums.
It's
like when they play those games at Belmore when they took bro.
That's mad. But still, I'm Penrith at heart, but like I don't mind the Bulldogs.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. So we moved on. So you're obviously a mentor now. So where do you see yourself like within the next 5 years from now? Do you still see yourself doing this and work your way up to the ranks?
Yeah, there's some unfinished business that there's certain goals that I'd like to reach. Yeah. Where I'm at now before I think, all right, let's go, because I'm goals driven.
Yeah.
Like 2 years, like I got 1 year, 3 years, 5 year plans. And I'm not always going to get it, but if I don't have anything to work to, then what's the point?
Because I really wanted to get you in really to talk about like the options you have even as an NRL player.
Yeah.
Because I feel like even when I grew up, I think the mentality was once you make it.
Yeah.
But there was nothing spoken after it, and there was nothing said. There was no encouragement into
no support
and stuff like that. I think maybe it was just our era. I think I see a lot more support, especially in the Polynesians era this era, which is a good thing. But I think in our era, it was really hard to get by unless you're sort of supported.
Yeah.
So in saying that, were you supported, or like obviously you mentioned Frank Pritchard, Frank Pulatua.
Yeah.
But did you have any other did you have a good players management? Did
Yeah.
that play a role in sort of?
Yeah, I had a good manager. I was lucky I had a good manager at the time. And he was good. Like with management groups now, you've got your agent, like your manager, but he's got people around him as well that specify in different areas. Like they have like a finance company, accountants and that. And then you sit down with him and then you get all those
knowledge or information.
Information as well. So you can sit with them and they'll be like, all right, well, where's your money going? What are you doing with it?
So you got a bit of So
so you get that, and you need it, because, or like I said, or else you just go and spend your money willy nilly, and then,
Would you say that it's only for certain players or certain people, like certain?
No, that's for everyone.
That's for everyone.
Yeah, everyone that gets signed up, I don't think
because you've been around it. That's a fact.
Yeah,
you've been around that sort of environment. So, guys with high end money and certain age group. So
and they've got like good managers that look after where their money goes, because like you don't know anything to do with money. Like you just earn the money. You go out and play, get the contract, you earn the money, and then those people around you, they're the ones that say, "Oh, look, when you're getting this much money, you don't need to live off that much money. How about we put this into a card that you can use all the time." Put this into let's go and save this up to buy an investment, so we can offset some of that tax you're getting smashed with.
Would you say that you had to be on a certain level as a player to get that opportunity? Because obviously you got players who come in 2 games, make 2 games debut, and then that's it. You'll never hear from them again.
Yeah.
Would you say that's implemented way before you make those debut games?
Yeah.
Would you say that you got to hit a certain level of games or a certain level of professionalism to play the game? You know what I mean? To sort of achieve that. To get to that level of meeting accountants,
Nah.
So
it's pretty early on.
Yeah, it's pretty early on.
Because you're earning money from the get go. Even if it is a small amount, even if it is part time and you're working, for the younger boys, you still need the management's still got that. Yeah. It's probably not until you start earning bigger money that they can start going, all right, well, this is serious money. But not everyone's earning that much money. Some guys are still.
Yeah, because that's what I mean by you have to be a certain level to get that sort of opportunity.
Nah, it's there. It's always there. People. But your management, they're gonna know when it's time to sit down with.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, sit down with you, because it's no use you sitting down. You're only getting 70 grand or whatever. Because what's 70 grand now when you get taxed? Plus you got to pay your agent fees.
And you guys get taxed the highest, don't you?
Well, yeah, footy players get taxed.
You were saying earlier, it's entertainment. Far out.
Yeah, you fall under that entertainment tax bracket. So,
so the biggest part. So, what did you learn most from playing NRL? What was the biggest?
What learning? I learned?
Yeah, what did you learn most?
There's not one thing that I learned. I learned lots of things. Yeah. And not just the game itself and how it's run, and how you look at it. I learned a lot about myself. Yeah. I've got the resilience now because of those years I spent in the NRL. I can go through some tough times now and just know, bro, I've been through worse times than that. I was in a career where my performance was highlighted every week. Bro, like I was telling you about, oh, you're shit. After a while, if you're just carrying here, you're shit, bro, all of a sudden it's just bro, whatever.
You can work off that too.
You can work off negative. That's right. That's right.
Some people operate better.
That's it. You could go, man, I'm gonna work harder. Or it's go oh, bro, I'm just gonna flop here,
Yeah. So basically, learning nearly you learn a lot of things.
Life skills, man. Yeah. And it's the resilience side of it. I think I learnt the most in terms of I wasn't picked every week. Yeah. So you're going, or I was after an NRL game, bro, am I gonna get picked the next week? Yeah. And then you turn up the next week and you're just bro. Yes. Yep. So you're on high. Yeah. Play the game, boom. Oh, bro, got dropped.
Yeah.
And then so you're going it's a massive roller coaster. So you're
it would have played with your emotions.
Yeah, big time. Big time.
Imagine doing that, playing the game 1 week, and then
and then you're
cloud nine.
Yeah.
Or then it was also, even if you had a player who you filled in for, he's a superstar. Say Lottie Takuri, for an example. Yeah. And he comes back from injury. Does he just walk straight?
Yeah, 100%. And it's got nothing to do with your performance sometimes. You could have killed it. Yeah. But he's come back. The club's paying him more. So they're going to see him. They're not paying him to sit on the sidelines or play reserve grade in front of 500 people.
Did you play with Daniela Tuaki? Remember that?
Nah. So when I got there, he was still coming back from his ankle.
Yeah. It's a freak,
Good
man.
fella, bro.
So you didn't play with him? Like,
No, I just trained.
Man.
He was still there when I was there. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So like what, he got paid out, or what happened to him?
Yeah, I think he did. I think he just got paid
He
out
was a freak, man.
because he couldn't come back, couldn't play. Like every time he'd have like, there was so many complications with his surgery. Like not his surgery, his injury.
Yeah.
So they had surgery, and then he'd come back, couldn't run. Let's go back and have surgery to clean it out again.
Potential good.
Bro, he was so good, man.
Yeah.
It's sad because that's like you look at that career.
Yeah.
Boom, gone at the height, at the peak of his powers.
And that's what I'm saying. We're talking about like, would you say that there was stuff like programs for him, sort of like, you know?
So they're like
You know what
talking
I'm
to him.
saying? Like,
Yeah. There wasn't in his circumstance, and also Simon Dwyer, who I played with as well.
Simon Dwyer,
he was the one who put the big hit on Jared Warrior-Hargraves in our semi-final. Big back rower.
Yeah, I got to look that up.
Yeah, so he's the one who did his shoulder and his nerve in his arm.
Oh, the young kid. Was it? Yeah, the young kid.
He didn't come back. So he's still in a sling, and that happened in 2011.
Yeah, that's right. He was like an up-and-coming.
Bro, he was the man. He just signed a new, big, massive 3-year deal, and then it was like, I think 10 games in.
Yeah.
And that happened, had surgery, and then they were like, he's never going to get...
And then with those players, does the NRL look after him, or do the programs what they should have taken potentially?
Well, the club did. The club gave him like a job, got him studying and stuff, and he's still like, he's a coach, like an assistant coach.
Oh, it's mad.
With like, I think the Blues or the City Origin teams, and with the Tigers as well.
Yeah.
Like, he's got some roles.
Oh, that's good then. So they don't just like, oh.
No. And you can't. Like, I don't think they have to back then.
Yeah.
Now they do. Back then they didn't have to. But morally, like, you can't just let someone...
Because we obviously know, I obviously know a couple of guys who played NRL who played 2 games, like 3 games and stuff like that, but then you just never hear about them again.
Yeah.
Like, when I look at them now, what they're doing, I'm like, damn. Like,
you
know, full potential and stuff like that. But that's what I'm talking about, like, with if there was programs they could have taken, like...
Yeah, there is. And it's up to you.
So what it comes down to is really up to you.
Up to you to have that thought, like, man, this is not going to...
It's also hard, too, with a lot of Polynesians, too, not growing up with that opportunity to sort of think that, where... pressure's built on them to sort of make it, and that's what they can do. Would you say that?
Yeah, 100%. I see it all the time.
You're around the mix, like, you know.
Yeah, I've seen that, like, where it's like your family banks on you making it, and it's like, oh, if he's made it, like, we've all made it as well.
So those programs to you is like, it's like, that's not going to do me.
Nah.
I need to make this.
Yeah, that's right.
I need to skip those opportunities just to make this.
Yeah. It's just all narrow-minded to like, boom, I'm just going to make the NRL and I'm going to play, instead of going, look, I've got a chance to leverage off the NRL, like your profile, the sponsors you have around the club, who you can reach out to. Like, there's some players that do that and they do it well, and then there's like some that just, I'm just going to play footy because that's all I can do, and then that's it.
It's sad, isn't it? Seeing it happen.
It is, because they think, it's the be all end all. Like, that's it. Like, I'm just going to play in the NRL, and then when I finish, I'm going to be set.
But I don't think no one ever tells them. I don't think no one ever tells them that even if you do make it, some jobs people have that the money's sort of equal.
Yeah.
Like, even if they went down a career path or just working, whatever they're doing a business or something. Even like I don't understand how they don't understand that the money you make from just working, whatever it is from 9 to 5 in the office, could be potentially the same amount of money as if you're in NRL.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And working your way up the ranks actually lasts as longer.
Longer. Because you're going to do it for longer, aren't you?
Yeah.
You're not going to be playing footy. Like, you can't. They're always looking for the next young star.
Exactly.
Because he's going to last longer, and plus sometimes he's going to be a bit more cheaper.
And even just like looking at the numbers and looking at the stats, like the potential, like the ones who get paid the high end, you've got to be the top 3 or top 5.
Yeah.
Surely for the team. And if you're not the top 3, top 5, you're sort of just, would you say like you're in that position where week in, week out, you don't know if you're going to get called up.
Yeah.
And then obviously having certain clauses in your contract, you don't know, you got to play a certain amount of games to get that certain amount of money.
Right.
So if you're sort of banking on that, you got to like,
it's risky, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I just wish they were educated in that. I wish the young kids were realizing that. Look, there's nothing wrong chasing the dream or making an NRL. Like I wanted to, it didn't happen. But it's the fact that if someone just laid out the numbers, if it was all about numbers, stats wise, if they can go, look, if you do this, this can happen. If you do this, potentially long happen, but you're sort of losing the start, but it sort of catches up. It sort of equals out.
Yeah.
Because I think there was this, I don't know. There was a statistics. I don't know who had the source, but I read about it. It's on Google. You can look it up. An average person's lifetime makes $4 million, and like so for a person who works 9 to 5 or whatever, an average person in Australia, I think,
to retirement.
I think it's like $4 million. So when you look at NRL, if you're on X amount of money, and if you look at their careers afterwards, it sort of drops off a bit with the money. It sort of equals. So you're sort of catching up. You know what I mean? It's just the fame's not there, and obviously the
adulation.
Well, if you can, like you said earlier, if you can use that leverage, if you can be taught to use that leverage you have while you have it, and sort of build off from that, you can sort of probably make something out of it where your numbers can sort of go up a bit, if that makes sense.
And that's the key, like to leverage off the game, like use it.
Yeah,
they're using you.
Yeah,
like use it up.
And I think that's most. I think that's more taught these days. Like I see it more.
Yeah,
that's a good thing.
Back when I was playing, Yeah. And especially for Islanders, like, we're the shy guys. Like,
exactly.
Like, just go be the one at the back in the corner. Like,
I'll be the best player in the team, but
yeah.
You're the best player in the team, but you stay in the corner.
Yeah.
No.
But 100%, and that's what it is. Like, if you don't come out of the game now, and you've played like a good 5, 6, even 7 years.
What about 2 years? Would you say 2 years?
Nah, 2 years is hard.
2 years is hard.
There's like, to work yourself up, some players are still getting paid. So, like 2 years, they're still living.
Yeah.
Like earning, like living day to day with what they earn. So, and like you said, there's people working that are earning more than that, but they're all banking on making it big so they can get that big deal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so that's their push.
Yeah. No, it's good. It's good to hear it because, like, it's actually good to hear it from a person who's been through the ranks. Like, you know what I mean? Like, sitting down here, it's actually facts. Facts that like what happens in our role. So it actually spoke to me realizing that there is opportunities.
Yeah, there's plenty.
But it's also coming down to education beforehand.
Yeah.
Like if you think about kids who come from Mount Druitt and make an NRL.
Yeah.
Like the education and the support system is not as good as say certain other players in the team. So I think that sort of plays its role. If that makes sense.
Yeah, and a lot of it comes down to just your home support as well.
Yeah.
Like that's massive.
Big time.
If you got your parents there, pushing you along.
Yeah.
Not putting pressure on you.
Yeah.
And that puts your mind at ease, and you can go train better, play better.
Yeah. And
then in the long run, it works out better for you and your family.
Well, even in the support, we'll talk about support. So even saying support, would you say that there's people, like there's a lot of children, like say in your generation, if they just had support, they could have made a bit more out of it. Would you say that? You sort of saw that? Like, if they had a bit more
support, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
If they had the support from home, and it was like genuine support, not just forced.
Yeah.
Like, 100%.
You would have saw a couple more players coming.
Yeah, man, because I played with some like
our
area.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like it's the same sort. Like I can name, put 5 of my mates I grew up with, and like everyone was saying the next best thing.
Yeah.
But they obviously didn't make it. And is it based on support at home, or is it based on other interests, or obviously when you're young,
girls?
Yeah, well that's what I'm saying. So when you're young,
parties.
Yeah. So when you're 14, 15, your ambitions is to do good in life and you use your abilities you got. But when you hit the license, 18, you get a license, you drive around. You drive around, and you meet the girls, and then you meet maybe some certain secret sources. You know what I mean? You start having lollies around the corner. You know what I mean? When you start,
it just separates.
It separates. So then your sort of ambition goes. So that could obviously play right to a lot of them. So.
Yeah, and but at the end of the day, like I grew up in the area.
Yeah.
Like you know what's out there.
Yeah.
But you're got to be strong enough to just go.
It's decisions, bro.
Yeah,
it's decisions, bro.
The choices you make.
Because like I noticed that people, like even guys, I got to admit, bro, I didn't really get involved with that. I actually never got that bug, so I was quite lucky.
Yeah.
And I always wanted to play NRL, but I didn't make it. I just wasn't good enough. So
and sometimes that's it.
Yeah,
like, you can't do anything about that, Like, bro, that's just the way it is.
Some people full dedicate themselves like they don't do that.
Yeah.
They go the opposite way and they just don't make it. And I guess that's good. That's a good thing itself.
Yeah.
So, not really a good thing, but it's good to once you realise that I'm not good enough.
Accept
it. It's all good.
I'll go and work and build myself up that way.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like,
So once you accept that, I think it's all about the acceptance.
Yeah.
Once you accept what you are in life, like
that's it.
You are what you are in life.
You're at ease with it, and that's what I've always been, man. Like, if I always thought, if it's football, it's football. If it's not football, if it's something
that's good, man. Because even when we were younger, like even when I was younger, like I always knew. I know everyone was always talking about how athletic you were and stuff like that. But it was always like be more of a shock to me. But honestly, if you didn't make NRL,
Yeah,
all the hype was not
Yeah.
hype, but all the talk was behind you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when you made it was just like, oh, you made it. Like,
Yeah.
to me, it was like, well, since
mate.
primary school,
Yeah.
this guy was Mr. Steely Girl.
But you know what I was like? I was like, like even though I had that talent growing up, it wasn't until I was a bit older, say probably 15, 16, that I thought, you know what, there's probably a career path here. And like, all right, what do you do to get there? Like, you know, like,
So that's when
yeah. And then it's like, all right, so you got to train more. So you got to train when you think other people aren't training. So I used to train at home. I used to train, like, even if it was a day off. Like, I remember my dad bought this, the trading gym set off the trading post back then, and just put it like a cheap one at home. And then like even like all the boys used to come over and train at my house. But it was like they were the extras I did. And then like our school team trained in the mornings, like early mornings. So I used to catch a train. I had to catch a train to train to school, train early, have a shower, have breakfast. And
naturally it was just that was attitude. Naturally I was showing discipline.
That's just bro, 100%. And I thank my parents for that, because all I ever did was saw my parents work. Like especially my dad, man, he was working back-to-back shifts on the railways. And I was just like, bro, like if you want something, like you've got to go out and get it.
Yeah. So
and that's what pushed me. Like I saw how hard my parents worked, and I was like, all right, well then you've got to have the same work ethic.
Yeah. Because it's good you had that, because some kids don't get that opportunity. Some kids don't even see that.
That's right.
They just see, just parents and stuff like that. Maybe different sort of support-based type thing, or different situation.
Yeah.
And if they just had a bit of what you had,
maybe they could have.
Maybe they could have.
Maybe,
you know what I mean? So, yeah. No, it was good, man. It was good having you on. What are we doing for time?
On 57 and
57. We're doing good for time, mate.
Yeah, bro. What else would I know?
Jared, you got any questions? You got any questions? I want to ask that former NRL player any questions? Footy, life,
bro.
anything?
I'm easy.
I'm trying to figure out what years you were playing.
He's Googling it now.
07, 08, 09 till about 14, 15.
I don't suppose your team versus Nathan Smith when he was in Penrith.
Nathan Smith.
Nathan Smith.
Yeah. I'm good friends. Oh, do you work with him?
He's a sparky.
Yeah.
To my work.
Yeah, I'm good friends with him and his missus Mel. So when we both finished up, we both went to St Mary's. And played. He was my captain. He was the captain, and when he left, I became the captain there. So he's the man. Yeah. Yeah, Smitty. That's why I asked you, because I live in Penrith, like out that way.
I'll probably let him know about this.
Yeah, let him. Tell him.
He always comes in, and dude's a happy fella.
Yeah.
He's
good.
Smith?
Nathan Smith, he's a lock. Blonde hair. He looked like Luke Lewis. They used to get him and Luke Lewis confused.
Yeah. So you actually played. You actually played alongside a lot of greats, but
right.
Benji, like actually, when I think about like Lotus Curie, Benji Marshall,
they're
still playing,
bro. You know what? When I came into the team in 07 at Penrith, they had heaps of the boys that played from the 03 grand final, bro. So like
Farah.
Nah, like at Penrith. So like Reece Wesser.
Let me just name one. I might get it wrong. What's it? That centre. He played in the grand final for West Tigers.
Paul Fadawera. Nah, I didn't play with him. He left.
Yeah.
He went to England. But at Penrith, man, like I was like Craig Gower. Like I went to school with his brother. Yeah. And I used to always say to his brother at school, bro, I've made it. You know I've made it when I've played one game with your brother. And he's like, yeah. Bro, after my debut.
His brother player?
Oh, he played, but he didn't play any higher. He just played at Brothers for St. Thomas. And then after my debut, the second game, actually, we went out to Panthers and he was there. Bro, he came up to me and goes, bro, do you remember what you said at school? I was like, oh, what? He goes, you wanted to play with my brother. And I was like, oh, yeah.
That's the Campbell not there, but...
Nah, he left too. He went to the Gold Coast because they just started.
Reece
Wesser was there. Tony Pulatua.
Was Reece Wesser there or was he out South?
Nah, he was there. So he left to South. Like 08 maybe?
Yeah.
So they were all still there.
Bro, you know what? That was the first, like, if someone asks me, when did you realise you wanted to play NRL? Or what was a dream?
Yeah.
Watching that grand final.
03. That was the best day.
Bro, I can watch it now and go thinking that's a game today. That was against the Roosters.
I still remember we tried to get to the club. You couldn't go anywhere near it.
Yeah, but so you were
Roosters.
Oh, you were in high school.
Bro, I was still at school, yeah.
Yeah.
Watched it at a mate's house.
Bro, that was the best grand
Our
final.
coach's house. So
That one, I thought it was actually the Sonny Bill one, the one with
04.
yeah, it was 04 where they versus the Roosters.
The Bulldogs did,
versus
yeah.
Roosters. I thought that one, but how many drop balls, bro? in
Yeah,
that
I
final?
know.
Yeah, when I watched it with a certain person, I actually watched it and I realised it's not as good as actually the Penrith grand final the
Nah.
year before.
That was a good game, man. Just tough. And I think because it was wet as well,
Yeah.
that played into, like, it evens out.
Who was the one who got the tackle?
Sattler, yeah, man.
Right, he ran down
A winger.
But you know what? These days, this modern game, you got forwards who can chase down wingers.
Yeah.
Like you got front rowers.
Yeah.
And you got front rowers who play second 5'8".
That's right.
Where back in the days, it was like a 13 was a second 5'8", but
Yeah.
then everyone else just runs the ball up. So, and then
The game's changed. Like, it's evolved.
would you say that with like no shoulder barging, it's a good thing or
Entertainment.
entertainment?
You know what? Entertainment-wise,
No.
not good.
But like for safety reasons.
For safety reasons, had to. Even like the vertical, the horizontal.
Yeah.
As soon as they like even look like getting to that horizontal, it's a penalty
But
because
even
player safety. And everyone says, oh, like, bro, if that was your son getting lifted or getting shoulder charged, unconscious, like some of the boys I played with, man, like they retired because of concussions. It's a real thing, man.
Is it?
Yeah,
What
man.
about all those boxers and UFC fighters, man? Surely,
But I don't.
you know what I'm saying? Like, I always tell people, if like NRL's got a lot of athletes,
Yeah.
and if they transform their abilities into like say fighting or like MMA or into like say kickboxing or something, just their toughness, like that impact, like you've got a 120 kg guy running at 90 kg, but just they stopping him.
Boom.
Like just that natural strength.
Yeah.
If they transform that into fighting, I'm telling you, you'll have a lot of. But that difference is that there's no money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, because as a kid, if you're 19, 18, you make it, you're on 100k plus. If you're 19, 18, you got potential in fighting. You're on like $400 a fight for an amateur fight.
Yeah.
You
got to wait a
You
while.
gotta wait. But like I'm telling you, man, if those guys like perfect example, Title Vasa, like he had an NRL career, but he waited a bit longer than he hit the UFC, and then it just shows that there's part if they could. I'm just saying, like
He would have been a good player too, man.
yeah, I hope he had good
But
stats.
he would have been a good. Like I remember watching him coming through.
He's a big boy.
Yeah, but he had like a rare mix of like speed, footwork, and strength, power. Like a massive power game,
That's
man.
why we hit him half being average on half.
Bro, good mix, good mix, bro.
Talus mix, isn't
Yeah,
it? Isn't that
pretty
Gordon
much.
Tallis?
Pretty much.
Did you-
Even Fafita, like Dave Fafita.
Yeah, same thing, half
Bro,
and half.
yeah, man. Like
Good.
I look at like a guy like Tamana Tahu. If you want to be a center, bro, he's the perfect build for a center, and he's like half Māori, half Indigenous.
Did you who was that player? Steve Maddai. Did you ever come across?
Yeah.
him?
But I didn't have to worry because with Steve Maddai, he's a
You didn't
jam.
have to worry.
Bro, he's a jammer. So
Yeah.
he's always jamming either the second row or the
So he leaves
or the
his- leaves
fullback.
his centers open.
Yeah, he just leaves his center. He expects your winger to jam the set. Like that's how you jam. You jam one in from
That
your
George
opposite.
Stafel was like the next best thing. isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah.
Right.
So I was like, even when I played Steve, I was like, oh, I'm not that worried because he always jams in. Like,
He was a nightmare, man. Like
Yeah.
I just think to myself, like looking at him and then just looking at me, I'm just like, nah.
and you know what?
I mean? Like,
He's not big, but like
No, but
he was
he
hitting.
hits, bro.
Yeah, he was hitting big
well, that's
boys.
what I'm saying. You got a guy who's like probably say 90 kg,
Yeah.
roughly. Then you got his hitting 120.
120.
But that's what I'm saying. That natural like the toughness. You know what I mean? That ability to take cop a hit.
Yeah,
If they come into like other certain sports and use that ability,
yeah.
they'd be freaks, man. You know what I mean? There's perfect examples out there.
120. They're
Big
big boys,
boys.
bro.
So you missed the Sonny when Sonny Bill came back. Did you?
Nah, I missed that, but I played him in 08 when he was at the Dogs.
Oh, he's a freak.
Bro, I remember he was off the scrum and I was taking a run off the scrum, and I looked, and back then like now they just pull the second row out of the scrum because it's just easier. And I remember they pulled him out, and I was like, oh.
Is he a big like
Right.
tall, like is he on the field?
Right, yeah, but like his jersey was like you could see every muscle through his jersey,
Right.
and his legs. Oh my goodness!
Right.
And then like I was like,
Mr. Steal Your Girl.
I was just watching. I was like, bro, he's normally strong left shoulder. I was like,
Right.
So don't go to that one. So I just went, bounced on him like.
So which was your best game? Would you say?
Yeah, that game.
That game?
No.
The Warriors
game.
the hashtag, with the hat trick.
Yeah.
So did Benji Marshall set you up, didn't he? Or one of those?
Yeah. Probably all of them.
Yeah. No, yeah, because I seen a highlight on that. I was like, I didn't even know you had. So that was your first and last hat trick.
Yeah, that was hat trick. Like I'd scored a double a few games, but that was good because I just you just know as a footballer when you're on.
Yeah.
I just felt on that in the warm up. I just felt ready. Like I was.
Was that at the Warriors? Is that at New Zealand? Or
Nah, that was
Yeah.
It's not easy to win over there, bro. I never won a game over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro. See all the Black Power mongrel mob in the
cut that
crowd,
out.
and then you're like, oh, yeah, we'll lose today.
I thought Melbourne Storm won't, but
Huh?
Melbourne Storm though.
Yeah, I know they don't care.
Freaks, bro. They don't care, right?
They don't care.
But yeah, man. I would just. So what are we doing for time? So we see if.
An hour and 6 minutes.
Hour and 6 minutes. Probably wrap this up. Got to say, but thanks for coming in. Appreciate you doing this.
Easy, bro. Thanks for having
So
me.
if people want to actually hear a bit more about your story, where can they find you? IG,
Instagram, Facebook.
Facebook. What's it under Geoff?
My Instagram's Geoff Daniela. Yeah, just Geoff Daniela, all lowercase, no spaces.
Yep.
And same as my
Facebook.
Facebook's just Geoff Daniela. Yeah.
All right, guys. Thanks for that, bro.
Nah,
Appreciate you coming.
easy.
in.
Thank
Sweet,
you,
bro. Thank you.
Yep.